Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we'll be discussing none other than Cassie Chan, the first Asian Pink Ranger. Cassie Chan, singer, hero, lover. Yes, she has many different titles the entire series of Power Rangers, but the most important one is the fact that she's a kind-hearted person who, in the end, though at first scared, she will eventually overcome all fears and take what is needed to be done and go through it all for her friends, family, and for the future of the human race. Now, how exactly did she go from just a lowly person to Power Ranger? She was not chosen by Zordon at all. If you remember in Turbo, he leaves early on in the series to go back to Eltar with Alpha 5. Now, who else is in charge? Well, that would be none other Demetria. And she's not very a hands-on approaching person, and she has nothing to do with, well, none other than leading the team in an effective way. She likes to guide the team to make their own decisions and the like. So, how did it come about that she, Cassie Chan, would take over the mantle of Pink Ranger? Well, let's get on to it. You see, she was an amateur singer who was traveling to Angel Grove during the episode of Power Rangers Turbo called Passing the Torch. Now, she was on a bus traveling to Angel Grove to the Stone Canyon area to pursue her dreams of breaking into the business of music. She wanted to go to full stardom, but didn't have the exact full funds. All she knew that she had to get to California, find a way, find a manager, and then she would make it gold. She just knew it. She had the voice for it, and why the heck not? Well, on her career travels to none other than Angel Grove, she met none other than TJ, who was also on the bus. Now, they got to talking and quickly became friends. However, she was soon dragged into helping TJ rescue none other than Catherine Hillard and Tommy Oliver, as they were under the attack from none other forces of Divatox herself, the intergalactic pirate, the toxic queen herself, Divatox. Now, they did a little rambunctious attack, had no real ambition to become Power Rangers, but they had the drive to help when they knew it was needed. They were not afraid to help out. And that was the best and most courageous part of being a Power Ranger, not being afraid to step in when it's necessary. Now, unlike the other two in the series, who would also replace the Yellow and Green Ranger, Carlos and Ashley, but they had already known the Power Rangers before then, though not knowing them personally beyond the levels of them being students at Angel Grove High, going to Angel Grove College, or beyond. These two were just coming into the series, and we had no information about who they were before then. And, well, they quickly captured our hearts and minds pretty easily onto the series, as you get to see them quickly grow up and achieve what very few are able to achieve in that time on Angel Grove: true heroism. By the end of the episode of Passing the Torch, they are all chosen. Cassie, TJ, Ashley, and Carlos are all chosen to replace the Rangers, besides Justin himself, who is kind of the veteran Ranger at this point, even though he is much younger than all of them. Like the rest of them, she is taken back by becoming the new generation of Power Rangers and supplanting the entire cast from then on out of the old original Mighty Morphin series on up. Now, this entirely would throw off the entire fan base for a long time. And people would say that Turbo was not a very good series. I would argue it's probably because the entire team leaves and we get this whole new crew of team, and no one really liked Justin, sadly, while you're watching it, for some reason. I personally liked him. However, we're not going on his story. We've already had his story. Cassie, however, has a very interesting story. This is the part where she becomes a bit of a lover. Yes, she's had a few different love interests here and there, but nothing major, besides one. She would have to basically go dog watching and really got to attach to this one dog that she was involved with. Now, don't think about that too much, because this dog would get turned human and lie to her about being the dog the entire time. Now, she was having a deeper connection with the human half of it, and then when she kind of realized at the end that maybe that human that left abruptly might have been the dog who was attentive, caring, and just knew her better than herself sometimes was that dog, she quickly wipes out her mind going, there's no way. And you're all hoping, I hope there is no way again. Now, her other great smoldering love interest is none other, not with a ranger, because technically he's never been classified as a ranger, but with none other than the Phantom Ranger. He's not exactly a Power Ranger, guys, but he is a ranger of sorts. He is more of an astronaut here and there, but he is called Phantom Ranger, and he saves the team on several different occasions. She was the first one to actually notice him at all, seeing him in reflection, and figuring out that he was more of a good character rather than just another one of Divatox's villains in disguise. Now, she would be the major weakness of Phantom Ranger, as he cared back for her and would even be caught and near left dead because she was captured and nearly killed, and he was forced to sacrifice himself to a point. In the end, the rest of the team would come together and save the Phantom Ranger, getting his crystal gem back and putting it back in his chest, keeping him alive and well. However, she would be forced to see him part ways and not again for a long, long time. Now, at the time of the Turbo Rangers, she would have another being in control of the Wind Chaser Turbo Zord. That was the Wind Rescue Zord when the other Zord was captured, and she had to get something new, and was gifted it to her by none other than the Phantom Ranger. Technically, he gave up all of them new Zords, but I think he really looked at hers very special. However, things would go downhill, as at the end of the series, she and the rest of the team all lost their powers when their base was destroyed by none other than Divatox, who planted a bomb in their power chamber and blew it sky high. Now, her and the rest of the Rangers were forced to flee, only being saved from Divatox's forces when the Herald of none other than Dark Ecliptor would show up, and at that, Dark Spectre would come up and ask for Divatox to come before the council and talk about their next plan and their futures of evil. Now, they were forced to flee after them, trying to learned about that Zordon had been captured himself along with Alpha 5, and, well, they were alone. Earth was defenseless, and so they had to go after them to see if there's another way to get their powers. They go to NASA, hijack a ship out to outer space, and fly into space with the government behind them going, I hope to God you guys can do it, because if not, we're screwed. That's where the Turbo series would end. For the first time ever, the Rangers would lose hardcore with no means of hope in sight. Unlike with the transfer between Mighty Morphin and Turbo, where in the end, Turbo Rangers were immediately set and good. Turbo Rangers, they're not doing very well. I'm sorry, Zeo Rangers not doing very well. The Turbo Rangers, it's a lot worse. Zordon's captured. Everything's going to hell, and there's no hope for getting their powers taken back. There's no more Zeo Crystal. That is when they meet up with none other than Andros, as they accidentally smuggle aboard his ship in orbit around Earth. How exactly they get in with docking so well? Well, matter of luck and human ingenuity. But the team gets through, lands on the ship, and is soon attacked by the Red Ranger, Andros. He fights them all back, but eventually they realize that they can help too. They're good and going out towards to save Zordon. Now, Andros is not human. He is an alien, and they're not sure how to deal with that. Remember, this team has never dealt with good aliens before, in truth. Most of the time, they've only dealt with evil aliens, and besides Demetria, and they really didn't get a good sense of her at all for this little time they had with her. Eventually, Andros does give them new powers, and Cassie becomes the Pink Space Ranger and does battle with Astronema for nearly a year, searching for none other than Zordon Eltar and Alpha 5. Now, this would go all over, not just the moon and Earth, but all over outer space from different planets and the like. Her new home would be none other than the Astro Megaship, with her actual home, Antler Grove, going there from time to time when they had no clues of where to look for next, or they just needed a break and go back to classes and the like. Now, at some point in the series, Carlos is accidentally tricked into attacking Cassie by a monster and injures her, although she held no real quorums about it and goes, it's just part of the job. You didn't mean to do it. It's not your fault. And she's like, I'm not hurt forever. Like, I didn't break a leg, or I'll never be like a singer or a Power Ranger again. It deeply affects him, and he desires to retire. It was only after the help of, well, none other than Adam Park coming back and giving him a pep talk and going, hey, you need to go on and do this. We believe in you. He eventually decided to come back. And she goes, what were you doing? Why would you leave? We need you still, Carlos. We wouldn't be without you at all. However, Carlos would come and pay her back once again by getting infected by being turned into a brilliant bug, serving as kind of the minor antagonist for the episode of The Brilliant Stinger, one of my favorite episodes. And she is, also stung by it too, and becomes infected, becomes a brilliant bug, and hunts down Ashley in the Astro Megaship while she's alone waiting for TJ and Andrews to come back with a cure. Another thing doing in the series is Ashley and, well, none other than Cassie herself dealing with some issues of love. Not that they were fighting over Andros, but they had some early on some bashings of the heads of fighting over a certain guy. They gave up that again, and when Ashley was going after none other than Andros himself, and Cassie was very supportive of helping her out, going shopping with her, talking about Andros, and trying to, help him open up as well as help her land the score. However, in the end, Ashley didn't need any help because, well, she actually scored it entirely with Andros, opening his heart up to love once again and just people, all while Cassie watched and helped on her own way. Now, in the final battle against the United Alliance of Evil, she was doing pretty well, except for when they all got knocked down, Earth was invaded, and everything just went to hell. The entire galaxy's under siege from enemies of the past, and, well, every dark force of evil ever known. Zordon's captured on Earth, being paraded around by Astronema, and the forces of evil were about to enslave all of humanity. Well, that's when things get really heavy, when the Rangers are forced to morph in front of all the people of Earth after the monsters were asking who the Rangers were. If you don't reveal yourself, we're gonna kill you. Or everyone here. Everyone started saying basically, I am Spartacus, or I'm a Ranger, I'm a Ranger, I'm a Ranger, when they stepped out and morphed in front of all of them and did battle one final time against the forces of darkness. Not just beating them, but beating every force of darkness as the Zordon's energy wave went through after Andros destroyed his power chamber that was keeping him in stasis and unleashing a massive wave that would wipe out all darkness within a certain amount of radius of, well, whatever. We don't know how far it went out, but it went pretty far to wipe out several different planets, and pretty quickly, too. From that point, she would retire from being a Ranger. Well, that wasn't to last very long, when she returned again and lost Galaxy as the Space Pink Ranger. Remember, she never lost her powers in this one, unlike in Turbo. With the Psycho Rangers back on the rise and attacking the Lost Galaxy Rangers, a call goes out and Andros, along with a few others, arrive back at the Astro Megaship and take back their Astromorphers, much to the shock of Alpha at the time, and they appear to help none other than the Lost Galaxy Rangers against the Psycho Rangers. She fights none other than Psycho Pink along with Kendrix, who is her successor as the next Pink Ranger, and they fight with their none other than Quasar Saber and Satellite Stunner. Now, this battle is pretty slow wit, but again, it's the Psycho Rangers. Now, working as a team together with all 10 Rangers there, they whip out their big weapons and destroy the last of the Psycho Rangers. But not for good. You see, one survived, none other than Pink Psycho Ranger. Crawling out from the debris, she jumps into Data and starts spying on the Rangers, once plotting again and again. However, unknown that she had survived and was still out and about, the Galaxy Rangers started showing off their new friends, those different Zords that are going on. They show them to the Galactic Beasts that are living sentient Zords ever be seen in the series, in truth. These things are fully living and kind of baffled by this. These Power Rangers in space are having some fun. Cassie even jumps on top of the Wildcat Galactic Beast and does like some weird dance move, basically like walking like an Egyptian, and she falls off Though from that height, she should have been to her death, but we're going to say morphing grid energy prevented that from happening. Now, you're probably wondering how she fell off. Well, that's because apparently her skills in dancing aren't her skills with singing. Remember, she had been in a band early on in Turbo, done a few singing and songwriting, but never really went from there at all. So she never really got in those big dancing classes that she really needed. Now, back on Terra Venture, Cassie runs into Kendricks and reveals to Cassie that the Psycho Pink had survived. They encounter Psycho Pink and transform to fight against her. However, Pink escapes and they go after her. They basically saying, I know where she's going, Cassie. She's going after the location of the Savage Sword, which is this new sword that is apparently so powerful, it devours everything it slices and kills, it absorbs into itself, and they grow, the wielder becomes more stronger. We can't have Psycho Pink have that, which is, and you couldn't like anyone have that. That is a powerful sword, and should be immediately either put away or destroyed. Now, the only reason that the Psycho Pink even knew about this is because she was watching Kendricks do some research while she was plotting to basically kill and replace Kendricks. She learned about the Savage Sword from the Galactic Book and stole the location from Kendrick's mind with her basically mind-stealing powers. After basically following after Psycho Pink, the two Pink Rangers get to the Savage Sword, but they have a little problem. They can't deal with it all. Kendrick is radioing the other Rangers to assist, but they're being held back by the appearance of Deviat, Villamax, and some Stingwingers here and there. Because they're going, we release the Psychos, we're going to get a dead Ranger. We know it. That's what we want. So Pink arrives at the location, pulls it from the sword, just as the other two Pink Rangers arrive as well. This is where things get very heavy. Cassie is brutally attacked by Psycho Pink using the sword, and her powers are being stolen away. Also, not just her powers, but her life essence as well. Healing all of her injuries, the Psycho Pink is becoming stronger and stronger right then and there in front of both these Rangers' eyes, much to their horror, as her Astral Morpher falls to the ground, and Pink stabs it into the Morpher itself, absorbing it, and basically turning into a massive monster form of a plant-like creature. She's growing more and more powerful as the seconds go by, and Cassie is suffering in pain as a result of this power grab. However, while this is being done, the Psycho Pink kind of forgets about the sword, leaves it stabbed in the ground, and then goes after the other Rangers who have arrived with their Megazords. She does battle while Kendrick is staring there at the heart of the storm that the sword is spitting out and is killing her friend slowly. She can't let that happen, and she goes charging into the storm to destroy the Savage Sword, while Cassie is telling her, leave me behind, go on, don't hurt yourself. Cassie sees how Kendrick maces the eye of the storm, pleading one desperately, going, don't do it, you're gonna die, you can't survive this. However, Kendrick's would not be broken at all. She breaks the Savage Sword with the swing of her own Quasar Saber, and the blast disintegrates Kendrick's, but her sacrifice ends the storm, saving not only the planet and the Rangers, but Cassie as well. Cassie is heartbroken watching as, well, her new friend disintegrates, becomes basically a Force Ghost, and her Quasar Saber shoots off into space. However, before Kendrick finally leaves in her Jedi ghost form, she restores the Astro Morpher, fully repairing it as a final gift to her fellow Pink Ranger, allowing Cassie to continue being a Pink Ranger from then on out. Cassie is probably one of the most heartbroken characters, as she is deeply connected with Kendrick's another Pink Ranger, as well as there's another woman besides Ashley to lean on and talk to. Now, seeing her go, it really hurts her deeply, and she says her final sad goodbyes as she flies off on her Galaxy gliders. However, originally, she was supposed to stay on and take up the mantle of the Pink Ranger of the Lost Galaxies. However, due to contracting and writing, they decided to go with someone else for that role, and you guys can guess who that was. Now, Cassie would be a Power Ranger through and through, and keep saving the day, never really going on further with her singing careers from what we understand. She would stay and be a ranger throughout this entire time. She never stopped being a ranger. And you're probably going, what are you talking about? She went back home, right? Well, she had some side journeys in a few little comic book stories that have been recently coming out, where she fights again against the Psycho Rangers once again, being led by a new Psycho, Psycho Green. And, well, things get a little hard and heavy, but she still saves the day, and still turns out that she, even older, she still can't give up the mantle of being a Power Ranger. This will be shown again in none other than Megaforce and Super Megaforce, where she is prophesized by a premonition that Troy has that all the Rangers from the past, present, and, well, possibly future are going to show up again to do battle against the forces of darkness. Now, she is one of the actual ones we know for certain was there because her character takes off her helmet, revealing that Cassie is underneath it all and still fighting alongside the other legendary Rangers. We know for certain that she is still out there doing good and apparently giving up her dream of becoming a singer when her destiny of becoming a hero was far greater. Thus is the story of none other than Cassie Chan, who was the first Asian Pink Ranger, as well as the first Pink Ranger that broke the entire mold of being a Pink Ranger. She didn't fall in love with the lead ranger of the team. She didn't fall in love at all in space. What happened with it all? Well, she was there more as representation as going for, she was the heart of the team. She gave up her dream of becoming a singer to instead save the galaxy, save the universe, save Earth and everyone she knows. That is the goal of Power Ranger, and she never stopped doing it. Good on you, Cassie Chan, and we hope to see you more in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this lore in-depth thing. We did skip over some stuff, but a lot of it was completely unnecessary from time to time. I hope you guys enjoyed this all. I know we don't get too much into their weapons, but a lot of the turbo weapons and the, well, other weapons aren't really impressive too much. We'll go into a more in-depth where we'll talk about their weapon varieties and the like, because saying the name Turbo Blade or Turbo Wind Fire or Turbo Cart, it's just getting a little unnecessary. Thank you guys. Have a good one. And, well, may the power protect you always. Till next time, have a good one.